Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Samantha and this is your inspiration station. However, if you have been here, you know that I like to get spooky. So it was actually a comment that Jamie made about my purple hair giving the appropriate witchy vibe that reminded me that I filmed a spooky story time a few months back, and I said that there was going to be more to that realm of videos coming up, and months later, here we are. Today I'm going to talk about how I grew up in a haunted house. Believe what you want. I know that everyone is different in what they believe for the afterlife. Is there an afterlife? What happens when we die? To recap a little bit of the last video, I've always been a very spiritually inclined person. Even when I was younger and I didn't understand anything, I still felt that I could feel otherworldly things, but it didn't help that my environment growing up was definitely haunted. Again, in my opinion. So from here on out, I'm not going to say that at the end of every sentence. You believe what you want. I'll believe what I want. And if you're with me here, then turn the lights off, get the flashlight under your chin, it's story time. So to start it all off, the layout of my childhood house had a set of stairs when you first walked in to the left. That was like a short set of stairs, a little platform, and then another short set of stairs, blah, blah, and then another little platform, and then another short set of stairs, and then there was like almost like a balcony sort of hallway with a railing that looked over the set of stairs at the top. And this comes into play both in this video and another video about like my Ouija board experience, which will be coming later. I had always felt like there was another presence in the house, and at this age, around like 12 I think, I had felt multiple presences before. Going to different houses and like even graveyards, like I know a lot of times like spirits don't stay where they are buried, but like I could still feel multiple presences at a lot of graveyards when I was younger. And sometimes it would get so intense that like even though I couldn't physically see an entity, I could feel them looking, like I knew something was staring at me. I haven't looked into anything when it comes to like my own power, so I don't know what I would identify as with all of this spiritual things, which is why I just say like spiritually inclined. Like my sister wanted me to try out for psychic kids when I was younger. That's how intense it got, but I'm not psychic. I just feel like I can connect with spirits very easily. I just don't like hear them, though I have seen. Okay, anyway, back to the story. So every Thursday night, my mom and my stepdad would go to play pool in the local pool league, and I always felt like when I came up the stairs and got to like the first platform, it always felt like I was being looked down on, like someone was like up there looking down on me from that top railing. And it would freak me out, and I would sprint up the stairs and sprint into my room, which was in like the back end of the hallway. My little brother's room was the one that was straight ahead when you went down the hallway, and mine was to the right a little bit. It was something that like I always knew was coming, but it wasn't something that I was like hyper aware of. Another important detail about this hallway is that there was a wooden ladder that went up to our attic, which at the time I believe my sister was living up there. It was essentially refinished, so it's not like she was a shut-in, like forget about her. I'm actually gonna call her later in the video to get her opinion on some of these things because she was there for them. Under that wooden ladder there was always a bookcase. We would put our towels on top of it, but that is important. That's a detail that you need to know. So every Thursday night I always felt like there was something just absolutely staring into my soul. It wasn't particularly negative because I do feel there was like a negative energy in the house, which like is a different story. This one specifically felt more almost overprotective than angry, if that makes any sense. And I would feel this energy in other situations, but a lot of the time it was just Thursday nights. So to paint the picture, being 12 years old at this point, I vividly remember I was reading way too late into the evening because I've always dealt with sleeping problems. I went to use the bathroom, and the way that my bedroom was set up, the door into my bedroom went in this way, but my closet door went out this way, so it would create like almost a blockage to get into the room, like if you had both open. And for whatever reason, I had both of them open. The closet door had a a mirror in it. It was a full-length mirror, so it was like, I don't know if I wanted to see myself when I came back or what, but I went to the bathroom and I came back, and this is so stupid. It's just ingrained in my memory. So it's like, I said the words, "It's reading time," so intensely into the mirror out loud when like I don't know if I was already trying to be sneaky that I was awake and reading, and that's why I had like the doors open, but I had my flashlight with me because I was also afraid of the dark. Still am. When I got into reading time, I like did the stereotypical like flashlight under the chin, and so it was like, whoa, reading time. But when I did that, I looked up, and behind me, like on my left side, behind me, I saw a whole ass figure and all I could see were like the eyes, and I couldn't see that they were blue, but I felt that they were blue, if that makes any sense. It was like tall enough to be tall as the towels on top of the bookcase. It didn't seem like it was like above where the towels were, it was like in front of the bookcase. It was like a whole man, like I just, a full entity, and I lost my mind. Because growing up, I watched all of the Ghost Adventures, all of the like ghost hunting shows in general. Never got scared, I was more intrigued. Having that experience face to face, I lost it. And I like screamed and woke up my mom, and so she put a cross outside of my door, and I think it stayed there until like they moved out, because anytime I would go to visit it was still there, just like a tiny little cross next to my door frame. But for me being 12, I thought that that would help the problem, because I think my mom thought that it could be evil, whatever, but I didn't think that it was evil, it just felt intense. I had a bunch of people try to explain it away of like the reflection of the light bulb in the mirror and whatnot, but I know what I saw. And then around the same time, my brother's room, like, so if the hallway's like this, my door is here, my brother's door is here. He was little at this time, and he was in his room. I think he was still small enough to have a baby gate on his door so that he wouldn't like wander into the hallway and fall down the stairs, because it is like, I fell down those stairs a few times and it was not fun. Now I have a fear of stairs. I think this was my sister that saw this happen. It might have been my sister and my mom. I don't remember. Again, I'm gonna call her to get her stories. Someone heard him talking in his room. I mean, that's not exactly unusual when it comes to a small child being alone in a room. Like, they have bigger imaginations than like all of the rest of the adults in the house combined. Someone went up to the baby gate and they're like, "Casey, what are you doing?" Because he was right at the mirror, like talking to the mirror. He was like, "Oh, I was just saying bye to Daddy. He heard you coming and he said he has to go to work." At the time, it was just kind of like, okay, but wait, it gets weirder. So his closet door would go against the wall of my bedroom door. I think my cats are fighting right now. Are they fighting? Hi. Why are you dropping her in here?
She's so grumpy.
Thanks.
She had Mila cornered between the cabinet and the litter box. Like, just back there.
So anyway, the way that the hallway was set up with like my brother's door here and my door here, this wall that continued is where his closet was. And his mirror was on the outside of his closet, to make more sense of that story. Connecting walls, that's what I'm trying to say. And so a few years later, I think I was around like 15 at this time, around this time is when the last video took place, where my mom was convinced that I am the reincarnation of a local celebrity witch. So things were already heightened enough that like, ugh. There was one day that I went into my room to go drop off laundry. The door to my room was open enough that you could see through the crack into the room. Oh, don't go anywhere. And so when I was bringing my laundry up to my room, I had a futon in my room at this point. And so if this is the hallway, my brother's room, my room, this wall, it was right here. So it was right where that closet was. And I just offhandedly looked through the crack of the door, and so vividly it was like a greenish gray entity sitting on my futon looking at the Mod Podge puzzle on my wall. And it was just like, it was such an innocent, like, again, didn't feel aggressive, didn't feel negative. It was like just chilling. He literally had his leg crossed over, he was looking at the wall, and as I noticed him, he like went like that and just looked straight into it. But I could see more distinct features this time. What freaked me out was like, it felt the same. The same energy, like the same entity. So this time it was in broad daylight, like it wasn't like whatever time of night that's late for a 12-year-old, but it was like the middle of the day, and I vividly saw like a whole ass person in my bedroom. Obviously, I dropped my laundry basket right then and there, ran downstairs, told my mom. I was like, oh my god, there's a ghost in my room. And so we went back up together, and obviously at that point there wasn't anything, like, it's not like he was gonna like wait and be like, hey, what's up guys? But my mom decided that she wanted to do an experiment, and she got out some old pictures. It was like I want to say 6 pictures that she laid out on our living room table, and then she was like, did he look like any of these guys? And I instantly was drawn to one of the pictures, and so I was like, I swear he looked just like this guy. And my mom took a minute to like recoup because she looked horrified for a second. Turns out who I'd been seeing was my stepdad's dad. Before my family lived there, like my mom, my stepdad, me and my siblings, it was my stepdad's dad and mom, and like their whole family lived there. So it was passed down through like, and I didn't know this until after. And so we put together that like there was a high probability that when Casey, my brother, was talking to the mirror in that same area of the house, that he could have been talking to the spirit as well, because my stepdad's dad looked a lot like him. So thinking that it was my stepdad, how he was like, oh, daddy just had to go to work, and that would make a lot of sense that when I felt the overprotective energy, that it was just like my grandfather on my stepdad's side that I never got to meet. Like he was just making sure, like, since there was no parents in the house, that we were doing good. I mean, it was a wholesome haunt for that part. There was definitely some negative experiences, so stay tuned for that video. Now I'm gonna call my sister.
Hi.
Hi.
You should see Larry's face right now because of your ringtone.
What is my ringtone?
It's a Baby Shark remix.
Oh my god. I just filmed the video. I talked about how the 2 times that I saw an entity in the house, and it like ended up being Sean's dad. And like Casey talking to the mirror. Like, I know it was probably like also Sean's dad.
Yeah, how he said daddy went back to work.
Yeah, was it you or mom or both that saw that?
It was mom, I think.
Oh, okay.
I know I was home because mom came down and told me.
Yeah.
But I think I was in the living room. Oh, the Ouija board.
Yeah, that's a different video.
I saw Uncle Mark a bunch of times after he passed away. He would come down the stairs, and it was always like on Thursday because they played on the pool league.
Really?
Yeah, it was always Thursday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was always Thursday after Casey went to bed. He would come down the stairs and walk into the middle of the living room and disappear.
That's so strange, because like I talked about Thursdays already, and that's when I would feel Sean's dad's energy like going up the stairs. That's so strange. I never knew that. I genuinely didn't know that.
It might have been after you moved to Dad's house that it was like the most active right before we moved to Marlboro, because I never felt anything after we moved to Marlboro.
Interesting.
But like there was so much energy in that house. After Kim passed away, I think it was later the same night, like after I had found out, I went up to my bedroom on the 3rd floor, and she was sitting on my bed. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah, I think I remember that.
I remember the lights would always turn on their own up there.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, last time I talked to Megan, she says that she occasionally will drive by, and she's like, the light turns on sometimes when I drive by that house on the 3rd floor. She's like, I'd like to say it's a coincidence, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The house always made me so uneasy, especially the back corner. Like, you know, if you went in through the bulkhead, the back corner would be the front if you went in through the house. You know, where mom had all her painting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That part right there always, like, freaked me out the most. I don't know what it was. I would run through that part of the basement.
Yeah, me too. I wonder.
I'd get to the bottom of the stairs and book it back to the other side of the basement. Just something about it made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel the same. I don't know what it could have been though.
Go on to Zillow and look up the address. That house has gone on and off the market so much since we left. You can like look back in the history, and it's like put on the market, taken off off the market, put on the market, taken off the market, sold, and then again put on and off and on and off.
Whoever has been there has been for 2 years, so that's good at least. 2000 it was sold, then listed for sale 2013, sold in 2014, and then listed for sale 2014. Pending sale, price change, pending sale, listing remove, listed for rent, listing remove, sold, listed for sale. Like, there has been at least 14 people that have lived there since we...
Yeah, I'm telling
Whoopsie.
you. Was it you, or was it Casey or Mom or someone else that saw Grammy in that house?
I don't think it was me, so I don't know.
I know somebody saw her standing between where the stove was and the counter that
was
the sink
me.
was at.
That was me.
That was you.
I completely forgot.
Wasn't it like a holiday too? It was like the first Christmas after she passed away.
Oh my god. See, this is why I wanted to call you. It like jogs out the memories. Because I suppressed a lot of that shit. Because I thought this whole time, I thought I only saw 2 entities and I saw my own dang grandmother.
That house is spoopy.
Spoopy. Okay, well, I gotta go and do the outro.
Okay, have fun. Have a wonderful last day.
Thank you. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed the lighthearted, spooky stories of our house, because the next video is a little bit more on the scary side. But if you have any fun ghost stories, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you're into this sort of thing, whether it's the spooks or the inspiration, please like, share, and subscribe. And with that, stay positive, my friends, and have a wonderful last day.